Democrat cities and states are vowing to push back on President-elect Donald Trump's mass deportation plan.
It comes as shocking new footage shows unaccompanied migrant children as young as 2 years old crossing into Texas.
Madeleine Rivera joins us live at the White House with more on that. Madeleine.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Well, the Biden administration is facing a lot of pressure from immigration groups to take some sort of unilateral action to protect migrants. The White House says it has no new policies to preview, choosing instead to enforce laws that are already on the books. Democrat attorneys general, on the other hand, say they have been preparing for months, planning out how to Trump-proof their states. Still, polls have consistently shown voters prefer some action in immigration. Yesterday morning, the Texas Department of Public Safety says they encounter a group of more than 200 migrants, and among them were 60 unaccompanied children, including this 2-year-old girl.
Venezuela, mamá. Venezuela. ¿Sí? ¿Qué tantos años tienes? ¿Dos años? ¿No vienes con tu mamá y tu papá? ¿No? ¿Venezuela? ¿Para dónde vas, mamá? ¿Dónde están? Estados Unidos?
Per Texas DPS, that piece of paper that little girl was holding had a phone number and a name. Congressman Byron Donalds tells Maria Bartiromo on Sunday Morning Futures the Democrats' resistance come at their own peril.
Democrat politicians have had a Marie Antoinette view of America for quite some time. And if they decide that they're going to oppose deportations that 57% of the American people want to see enacted, then they're going to have more political losses in the future. President Trump and his team are going to deport illegal immigrants out of the United States. That is the right thing to do. That's what the American people want to see happen.
Incoming border czar Tom Homan is expected to head to the Texas-Mexico border tomorrow, and he will be joined by the governor, Greg Abbott. Guys, back to you.
All right, Madeleine, thank you very much. Speaking of Tom Homan, Tom was at an event last week where he was talking a little bit about how certain cities like Los Angeles, for instance, Sanctuary City, which just passed a new ordinance that said they will not cooperate with federal immigration authorities. He said that, I'll send twice as many agents to a place like L.A. to make sure that it happens starting on day one, because ultimately they feel, and Tom Homan has said, that Trump's victory was so sizable, he's got a mandate to do what he promised he would do. And the thing he said was he was going to stop the flow across our southern border. And the good news is he would stop the flow of 2-year-old kids at our southern border who knows what kind of hell that kid went through before and will go through after they pass through the Texas DPS.
That little girl, she came over from El Salvador. She's only 2 years old. She's pretty smart to be 2 years old and be able to say, I'm coming to the United States. Here's my parents' phone number on this piece of paper. There were 211 illegal immigrants that entered in that area in Texas, the Maverick County area, and 60 of them were unaccompanied children like this little girl.
See, here's the thing. I think you need a PR team with Tom Homan. He's very good on camera, but so people understand this is not brutal. You have to understand we need to see inside these facilities. And we have to know that Joe Biden said, I have to move these people through as quick as possible. And that is one of the reasons why their objective is don't leave the kids in these facilities to get too overcrowded. So what do? Move them through. Don't ask any questions. Move them through. Put the DNA kits down. Move them through. But I think it's important when Tom Homan rolls this out. They want to show the image of Tom Homan callously saying these families that have been here 9 years and are just trying to work under the radar, they're the problem. They're not the problem. But it's not okay that they're here. But the primary thing is going to be get these unaccompanied minors with their families, number one. Number two, get the criminals out of here first.
Right.
And there's 1.4 million of them.
Which is going to take a long time.
Years.
And I think to your point, Brian, you know what's going to happen on the other side. You're going to have AOC and company crying at the gates again. By the way, they've been silent for 4 years when these kids have been coming across the border being trafficked. When people are dying because of the fentanyl, there's been zero tears. There's been zero protests at the border. There's none of that. But that all is going to change the moment Donald Trump is sworn in. So I think you're right. You got to have a media strategy. You can't just do, because right now, remember, the country is for mass deportation. They once weren't. So you got to be prepared when the left does the outrage tour to combat that.
Right. Robert Holder is coming up shortly, is somebody in New York Democrat that says get rid of the sanctuary. It's not legal. Stop with the sanctuary city status.
Ultimately, I don't know how much of a PR team Tom Homan's going to need, because I don't think images like that, where there are 211 migrants on American soil, is going to happen. We've heard that the president wants the Remain in Mexico policy reinstated, and it sounds like he's going to be talking to the president, probably already has talked to the president of Mexico, saying, stop them on your side. We don't need the problem over here. I'm just going to send them back. Don't let it happen. Tom Homan had a great observation. We have talked about how it is an invasion on our southern border ever since 9/11, and in fact, he invoked that yesterday.
I think the media is wrong in just about everything they print. Look, we need DOD, and I'm hoping we get DOD's assistance, and I think President Trump can make that happen. I agree with you, the southern border, I've been saying this for almost 4 years. What's happened to our southern border is the biggest national security vulnerability this country's seen since 9/11. We know terrorists have crossed that border. Just take Tren de Agua, for example. They're a threat to our national security. The cartels of Mexico have killed 250,000 Americans with fentanyl. We have a lot of dangerous people in this country. We need to find and remove them, because they directly pose the biggest national security threat to this country right now. And even Christopher Wray, who I have zero respect in, even he's testified numerous times, this is a huge national security threat.
We got that caravan coming here now, still on its way.
Yeah.
It takes 18 days.
They better hurry before January 20th.
Right, but when they get to the border, I think they're going to get stopped. I mean, 100%. If they don't get broken up, they don't get broken up immediately. It's so weird that the administration, current administration, is like they're not even doing anything. No. They're not protesting when the Trump people get involved. They're not talking to the press at all. I don't even know why they even haven't, press availabilities. It's as if they phoned it in. The vice president goes to Hawaii, coming back today. President's going to go to Staten Island and do something at a shelter for Thanksgiving.
He's pardoning turkeys today.
I was listening to some of the media commentary, and they were all outraged that Donald Trump hasn't done a press conference ever since he's become president. I'm like, wait a minute, where's the current president of the United States? Or have we just decided that he's a non-factor while he has the nuclear codes? We're more concerned about the president-elect than the current commander-in-chief.
Right.
Could I just say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What upsets me is when you see these little pictures of these little girls. That little girl is 2 years old. What is going on? Where are her parents? Why? I mean,
her parents could have sent her.
But what parent does that?
Yeah,
what parent can do that?
It's such a good point, Asa, because the conversation is gonna change into Donald Trump is separating families. What about the families coming across the border that's already separated?
Right? And who's bringing her over? Are they rapists?
Coyotes.
Are they cartels? Are they coyotes? How much are they getting paid? Who's paying them? Where are her parents? Is that really your parents' name and number on the slip?
Right. And the little girl, the parents might have been paid money by somebody to ship her off. We're always talking about how some guy gave a coyote $5,000 to cross the border. Other situations, they're paying for people.
That is neglect. That's neglect.
But we should understand that 300,000 have been lost, 80,000 over the last 18 months. We can't track. We could have video of this. We could have thousands of videos like this. Yeah. But it took Congressman Gonzalez had to go in there into one of those shelters with his phone rolling. Ted Cruz did the same thing because they're not allowed to shoot inside there. Well, that's got to end. You just have to tell these stories. The American people are known to care about kids. We're mailing money to kids we never met in Africa. What about to our southern border? This is the problem. We have no idea what to do. Why do they think it's okay to get here and stay? Why don't we see more of this? Why can't I see a Border Patrol person sitting next to a guy that he just arrested because he was hired to bring that kid across and unrelated?
And what about the terrorists?
We're unable to do that because of the previous administration.
What about the terrorists that are here? That have all just walked across our border.
Right. And how many times have we talked about the influence of for instance, the Venezuelan gangs and stuff like that? If you looked at the video that we just showed you, they're all young men. They are all teenage men who we see, because we work one block from Times Square, we see young men, teenage men like that all the time. I thought a woman in the second row, third row, but they're all single guys, which we had heard they were going to stop. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.